We continue where we left off with the Overlord simply looking at Deathwing in utter shock as he throws Velvet towards the ground. And Velvet obviously, I don't think she would like this at all here. She's literally holding her throat like, how dare you put your hands on me? Do you know who I am? I'm one of the V's. I'm one of the Overlords of Hell. And Deathwing simply looks at her like, cool story. Now, let me make my point very clear to you. You are not to interrupt Carmela again. Do I make myself clear? And Velvet wants to say something, but she kind of just crosses her arms on the ground and simply pouts. And she's like, yes, I understand. To which Deathwing is like, ah, yes, good, very good. Carmela, you may now continue your, what is it, sermon, speech, or whatever you were ever doing. And so he simply just walks back and just moves next to her. And so Carmela's like, thank you, Deathwing, or thank you, Neltharion. And so she begins to explain how, the angels are preparing for the exorcist, how she recruited Deathwing to basically, help them in this kind of instance, obviously. And so the meeting's adjourned, with Zestiel telling Velvet, seems like you've learned your place far quicker than anyone ever expected. Good on you, my dear. So we would then pan over to, I don't know what streets they even call it at this point, but we're definitely going to say they're in the streets. And Carmela's feeling a little flirtatious towards Deathwing here. Keep in mind, he has been with her for over a couple months now. Let's say around 3 to 4 at this moment. And so he's been kind of accustomed to her. And this is where she simply states, you didn't have to defend me. To which Deathwing says, you have literally a soul tether to me. I'm bound to you regardless. Into which Carmela simply grabs him by the face and pulls him closer with a sultry tone and states, it doesn't have to always be like that. Into which Deathwing kind of stumbles like, wait, what? Hold on, wait, get off me. To which Carmela actually simply laughs at this and is like, see, you do like it. How fun. And this is where Deathwing says, first of all, do not try that again intentionally. To which Carmela says, so you like unintentional attention, do you? To which Deathwing is like, okay, look, maybe I like this a little bit, but I am not in the mood for this right now. What do you want me to do? To which Carmela says, I need you to pick up my daughters from the fair. And who knows, maybe you'll get luckier. And so Deathwing simply jets off to the carnival. And this is where he actually meets Audette and Clara. And so he kind of lands with either a resounding thud or kind of like a sonic boom, if you will. And he says, girls, we're leaving immediately. Get on my back and let's go. Into which Audette is actually just simply ecstatic to see him. Keep in mind, he has been kind of watching over them for a little bit. So whether he likes or not, he's unintentionally a father figure. And Audit simply asks him, can they walk home instead? And Deathwing is like, your mother wants you home immediately. To which this is where Clara simply states, please, it would be so fun just for us to walk and, talk with each other, maybe even bond a bit more. And this is where Deathwing is like, I really don't feel like doing this. Can y'all just literally get on my back and let's just get this over with right now? And so this is where Clara simply walks over to him like, fine. I just thought we'd get to know each other better at this point. Now, whether it's the understanding that Carmela will probably hurt him with the soul tether if he sees her daughter's upset, Deathwing's like, wait a minute, hold on, but maybe we can walk home. To which Clara's like, great, now let's go. And this is where Deathwing is like, okay, look, if you guys are going to ask questions, keep them limited. He doesn't feel all lovey-dovey or sharing at the moment. And so this is where they're like, okay, so you said you were married once, correct, when the last time we talked? And Deathwing is like, yes, my wife, Cynthia, and I had plenty of children. And they're like, oh, okay, how many? To which he's like, 7. You're looking at him like, what? What do you mean 7? Yeah, keeping our hands off each other was a very, very hard thing. And they're like, oh, so you would just, yes, we brought a lot of children into the world. And this is where Clara asks him, do you miss your family in, any way, shape, or form? And Deathwing does admit a little bit. I mean, they all died because of his, easily corruptible self, but, he's not. He knows that his lineage, or at least his children, will live on, so he's not entirely upset about it. However, as they're pretty much going on, Deathwing catches a spear, like it's absolutely nothing, mind you. And this is where he sees 3 exorcists actually appear before him. And he's like, oh, great, now he has to deal with this, apparently. And so each of the exorcists simply try to surround them and actually try to kill him. Keep in mind, this is more like a area where they're all alone, so it's just kind of them with Deathwing. And Deathwing simply asks them, what do you want? And this is where they state, well, the exorcism is coming very soon, and they don't want any overbearing issues, if you will. To which is like, okay, so you guys want to simply die. Into which the head exorcist, or the, leader of this team, is like, what do you mean we're going to die? I mean, there's no way you could possibly beat us. And so Deathwing simply holds up the head of one of them and says, are you very sure about that? I mean, you want us to take a head count? And so the other 2 are looking at each other and then look to the body to the side that's slumped over and headless. So it's just like, well, dang, he's faster than expected. And this is where the other, the commander exorcist, or the head of the team, simply states, you won't do that again. Into which he says he's got, I don't know, I got half a body to really do this, I mean, it's pretty simple for him. Into which she looks at him like, what do you mean half a body? And Delphine's like, you didn't notice your partner next to you? I mean, just look at him. And this is where she sees his hands covered in golden blood, looks over to her partner, and then he's pretty much just split in half on the ground. Like, what? Wait, what the heck just happened? Like, she just saw him there. What? How did you move this fast? And he's like, see, the problem with this here is that you guys thought you could come down here and just simply, exterminate me without knowing the gratifications of my powers and abilities? How sad. And this is where the last thing that's left of the commander is nothing more than a golden puddle. And so the girls pretty much run up to him and hug him, saying, oh my gosh, that was incredible. Can we see that again? To which he looks at them like, what do you mean see that again? You know what, let's just go home. And so they do head home, with Deathwing obviously being covered in golden blood, and Carmela's looking like, oh my god, what happened to you? And this is where Deathwing pretty much explains that, well, things kind of got a little bit messy, and pretty much explains the angels and stuff. And Clara simply brags about how he easily dealt with them and how, he was able to save them in an instant. And she's like, you protected my daughters. And this is where Deathwing is like, look, I'm kind of bound to you, remember? I kind of don't have too much of a choice. But in actuality, no, I wouldn't let anything happen to your daughters. They're far too precious for that to happen. And so as he's speaking this, Carmela walks over to him, grabs him by the face again, and kisses him. And so it's a deep, and it's a very intentful kiss. And so Deathwing kind of pulls back like, that was unexpected, but... And she's like, you enjoyed it, didn't you? Yes, very much so. She says, good. Go clean yourself up, and I'll see you in a little bit. But right now, I have to attend to some other matters. And without any hesitation, Deathwing's like, yeah, sure, I'll see you in a bit. And so he kind of just, I would probably say, walks off into the house, but there's a little bit of a pep in his step, while Carmela does tell her daughters how happy she is that they're alive and stuff like that. But now she says Mama has to go handle some other endeavors real quick. And so we would then go over to heaven, where we see Adam and Lute absolutely livid at this. And they're both like, I guess you could say, like, complimentary, arguing, and, well, kind of agreeing on the same thing. Like, how the heck can some of their exorcists be killed that easily? He says there's no way they should be able to do that. And this is where Lute simply states maybe they could speed up the, date to actually commit the exorcism and just overwhelm the creature. However, Adam's like, no, 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 we have rules. There are rules to this. Rules cannot be bent. There has to be a reason why we're going down there for an exorcist. We can't just bend the rules. Or, to which he kind of gets an idea and simply says, okay, quick, follow me. And so Lute actually, has no problem following him. And this is where they actually go into the chambers of one of the archangels. Now, again, I am kind of making a difference here. And this is where they actually go to meet Zachiel. And he simply looks at them like, okay, Adam, what do you want specifically? And this is, we're like, oh, come on, buddy. Isn't it wrong? Is it really wrong to request something from an old friend? And to which Zachiel's like, okay, dude, what specifically do you want? Because there's no way you're here for a simple chit chat or whatever. And this is where Lute's like, okay, to get to the point, the demons may have overstayed their welcome with a particular character. And to which Zachiel's like, oh, you mean Neltharion? Oh, yes, I'm very well aware. Is he a problem? To which they're simply explain that, yes, this is going to be a problem. Because, again, if he's there, then they won't be able to, well, commit the exorcist anytime soon. And so Zachiel does see this as a problem and is just like, okay, fine. I'm going to do this just once. But know this, the consequences of doing this will be severe. And so Zachiel then just opens a canister and releases his Angel Rider. Basically a Ghost Rider, but with more blue hellfire, if you will, showing he has much more of a connection to his angelic side than his demon side. But we would actually end this off here with Carmela and Neltharion having a night of intimacy. And so that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends, and I'll see you guys later for the next part. Peace.